So Chad, fighting out of Champions Creed MMA, first things first, how's the team doing? How's everything going back at camp?
Oh, it's the best, man. We got such a strong team. We got just amazing coaches, amazing training. It's all coming together now. You know, like we always had a really good gym with a lot of good people, but now, you know, we're really hitting our stride. Some of our younger guys are getting a bit more experience. And man, I really feel like we rival any of the so-called super gyms out there. I feel like we stack up against anybody in the world. So yeah, life is good at the gym right now.
I love that.
That's good. Real strong confidence.
And speaking of fights, are there any fights that are in the works?
Yeah, it just got announced recently. Healy Alatang. I'm going to be fighting him September 10th.
Okay, that's what's
yeah, tough fighter out of China. He's got 4 or 5 fights in the UFC already, coming off a big knockout win. So we're both coming off big knockouts. So I'm expecting an awesome fight, man.
All right. What can you expect kind of from him specifically?
Yeah, I've got a lot of fights, and they're all very similar. I mean, the guys are super athletic. They're super strong. You know, they're the best athletes in the world. So I really got to kind of respect the athleticism. I know he's got some good wrestling. He's got some knockouts too. So, you know, I just got to take the fight like all of them. I just got to go out there and do my thing and make sure that I do what I always do, and that's outlast these guys. So I'm going to tire them out, and I'm going to take them out just like I do to everybody.
What do you think about the fight? How do you see the fight going? You see a finish?
Yeah, man, I'm going to knock him out. I know he likes to get behind his hands. He's got a lot of confidence in him, but my strike is on a different level. I see things. I set traps. I put these guys where I want them. I think it's a deeper level to the striking game than he has, and I'm going to take him out.
Right
Okay,
on. And I know you're focused on this fight first, but I had to ask kind of just about your plan for the rest of the year. How many times do you think you want to fight for the rest of the year? Are you kind of just taking it one fight at a time, or do you have a set plan?
I'd love to get back in there fairly soon, ride some momentum. I really feel like another win. This is a real, I mean, every fight's important, but this is a real turning point in my career. If I can get this win, you know, I'm pushing 11 wins in a row. All my last wins would be, you know, very, very strong wins. You know, I have Heinstead, Gaffarov, Strader. Now, if I rack off another one, I mean, technically I'm 2-0 in the UFC, but those last 4 guys are all UFC level opponents. So I think it's really going to make some noise. I think if I take this guy out with the knockout like I'm hoping, I plan on getting a big name next. And then if I get that, I'm ready to jump right back in.
Okay, and like Richard said, we don't want to jump the gun because we want to stay focused on the opponent that we have up here. But if you do knock him out, do you see like you want to call someone out in the top 15 or is that something you're looking forward to? Are you looking to climb the ranks kind of fast here?
You know, I'm still kind of cutting my teeth in the UFC. I don't really want to get in there and start calling out some of these vets, even though I would love the fights. I just kind of want to, you know, give those guys a respect and not start calling them out. But for me, I'm really fortunate because I'm still new in the UFC. So it's still, you know, it's still a blank slate to me. All the fights are great. When I look at matchups, it's not, from at this point in my career, it's not about rankings and all these other things. It's about how am I going to make people remember my name? I need exciting fights and I need an exciting opponent to do that. So whoever it is, as long as we can put on something that people are going to remember, that's all I care about right now.
And us as fans, we appreciate that. We want to see wars and we want to see you, Chad, definitely win those wars. But as far as long-term here, as far as UFC goes, do you want to get the belt or do you want to just get those wins and get those paychecks?
Well, I don't know. I'm really satisfied with my career so far. I mean, things have been going great. I'm almost at the fun part of the career. I just want to put on great fights. I have a lot more respect for the guys that go out there and really put it on the line and really try to entertain and really try to be remembered than some of the champions that don't do that. So championship is always on my mind, but more than anything, I'm out there to, you know, have people know who I am, whichever way that is. If that's with the belt, great. If that's just with putting on great fight after great fight, I'll do that too.
Speaking about the belt, I want to get your take on the 135 belt. You know, it's kind of all over the place right now with Aljo kind of doing his thing. It looks like it's between Henry Cejudo and TJ next in line as the challenger for the belt. What's your take on that? Who do you think should be next?
Well, actually, I think they just set that up. It's going to be on the same card as me, Dillashaw is getting in there versus Sterling.
Oh shit! You're
It's gonna be on
dropping
that
bombs. You're
10.
dropping news
Yeah.
over here. Okay.
Yeah, they just came out with that one, so I won't get in trouble for that. But that yeah, that's really motivating to have the belt in my weight class being fought for the same night I'm fighting. Again, it's just another opportunity for me to put my name as close to that belt as I can. You know, I really got to go out there and show out on this fight. But you know, I'm a huge Dillashaw fan. I think he's a great fighter. I think he fights exciting. I think he's gonna do real well and get the belt back he never lost.
Oh shit! Okay, I like that. And since you brought that up, are you a fan of the sport? Do you watch UFC on Saturday nights?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure I am.
And let me ask you, since you brought up TJ Dillashaw, did you think he won against Cory Sandhagen? Because that was a very split, controversial match right there.
Yeah, I thought he won. I thought he won. He was in control. I thought he caused more damage. I think that's actually been a problem. Sandhagen has let these close fights slip away a few times when he has maybe the skills to actually do it. But the dog, the fighter, and TJ, I think, edged him that fight. So yeah, I thought he won.
Speaking of another fight in your division that happened last week, Sean O'Malley and Pedro Munhoz. There's a little bit of drama there. I mean, what do you think about that? Were you able to see that and kind of see the eye poke happen? And what's your take on that? A lot of fans are being hard on him.
These guys are UFC fighters. They don't look for ways out of fights. It's ridiculous to ever hear things like that. I mean, these guys are the toughest guys in the world. You know, people talk about guys being scared or pulling out of fights or taking their way out in a fight. I mean, that's the wrong type of person to try and paint with that brush. That'll never happen. So I'll always put the benefit of the doubt on the fighter. I mean, he obviously got poked in the eye and couldn't continue. You know, there's no other way around it in my mind. I wouldn't even think twice about it.
Perfect. Enough said. Honestly, I'm glad you were able to answer that, because we have a lot of fans that were, because you know, Sugar O'Malley, he has a big fan base, and a lot of people are like just booing Pedro, thinking like, oh man, he took, you know, no offense, the pussy way out. But you, a fighter yourself, you would know that a simple eye poke, if you said I can't fight, I can't see, you have to protect yourself, and you know, you gotta live for tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Just hearing that from another fighter, I mean, I think it's really important for the fans to understand. You know, there's a lot that goes down the octagon that they don't know about.
Yeah, you know, and that's the thing. The people that are calling him out are fans, not fighters, a lot of times. Because I mean, the fighters aren't going to be in there talking shit about, you know, somebody not fighting or pulling out, because they know what the game is like. You know how hard training camps are. You know how hard fights are. These guys aren't looking for ways out. These are warriors. So yeah, I'll never you know, second guess a guy for getting out of the fight.
Let me ask you this: do you think the UFC or the ref should have done a better job giving Pedro maybe his full 5 minutes of time to recover? Should we take better precautions when things like this happen?
You know, I actually didn't see the fight live. I only saw kind of the bits and pieces after, so I don't know the whole shakedown of it. But, you know, the fighter's always going to find a way to fight if he can. And if he can't, that's just going to be the way it is. So, the UFC and the officials, they can all do their part, but it's a small part. You know, the real part is the fighter, right? Are we running to get back in there? If they are, there's going to be no stopping them. And if they can't, you know, there's going to be no getting them in. So, yeah, the officials do what they can, but I think it's a smaller piece of the puzzle.
One more question here. It's been flowing around a lot lately here. I know you're new to the UFC, but what do you think about fighter pay? Because a lot of fighters have been talking about it. They feel like the UFC needs to pay a little bit more, or like Tony Ferguson even said that even if you don't pay more, at least take care of the insurance part more. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, the UFC gives you the opportunity to make as much money as you want. So if you perform well, you'll be paid well. It's as simple as that. You know, they give you the platform, and then it's up to you what you want to do with it. If you want to fight a bunch of times in a year, have a bunch of wins, get a bunch of exciting finishes and bonuses, you're not going to be complaining about money at all. So it's all up to you and how you make the most of it. So these guys that complain about fighter pay, I don't know. There's some things to be said for some higher level people that maybe aren't getting the money that they deserve. But I mean, for the rest of us, the UFC is putting it in your hand. It's like being your own business owner. Okay, here you go. What do you want to do with this? You want to go out there, be exciting, get a bunch of fans, get some knockouts. We'll pay you for that. If you don't, well, you're going to get the minimum. That's just the way life works.
Yeah, I like that. And you're getting more fighters saying that. You know, the more fighters we interview, I noticed that most of them are saying, hey, you know what? Maybe just as simple as you perform, you'll get rewarded, and maybe that's just how it goes.
That's how work works, man. That's what you got to do. You don't just get paid for showing up.
You got to give.
Got to do your part too.
Yeah, you got to give so you can receive.
But you do see those fighters like Francis Ngannou, who's the current champ, who is winning, who still is complaining about fighter pay. And you do have other fighters who say that. Do you feel like they're just not grateful enough? Or what seems to be the problem, would you say?
Maybe they're lacking guidance.
Yeah, I mean that one's hard to say because I'm just not in their positions. You know, like I wouldn't really know what that's like. But I mean, it's something's as simple as if it's not enough money, you won't do it. If they feel like they are getting enough money, they will do it. I mean, there's always going to be some complaints, and every company and every alliance between two people, it's always a bit of give and take. So you can't just get everything you want. The UFC can't always just get everything they want. So there's always going to be turmoil. It's not like it's a perfect system, but if you don't like it enough, you don't have to do it. So it's not for me to really speak on these guys that are world champions. Like obviously they know what their worth is more than I do, but yeah, if you don't like it, don't do it. I mean, simple as that. I mean, everybody tries to overcomplicate this thing, this fighters pay. Performing, you'll get paid. If you think you're overperforming for what your pay is, go to somebody else that'll pay you. Right?
Is your fight going to be taking place in Las Vegas by any chance?
We actually don't know the location. It is a pay-per-view, so it's going to be a big arena sold out. So no matter what, it won't be Apex Center. But they actually haven't set the location yet. So
okay,
someone with fans. That's going to be my first fight with fans. So I mean, a big number of fans versus the Apex. So I'm excited for it.
What do you think about that?
Oh, it's going to bring out the best in me, man. I love the energy of the fans. I'm already an exciting fighter because that's just how I fight. But
you sure are. Hell yeah.
And then with the fans,
the fans get me fired up, man. It's going to be fun.
I noticed that you've been working with a company, right? They're called Dedicate Kitchen. What can you kind of tell us about the company, and how has working with the company benefited your training so far?
Yeah, it's been really helpful. They're a great smaller company. They only got 2 locations, but they saw my Contender Series fight. They watched my journey a little bit, and they wanted to help me, reach the highest level I can. They reached out and they support me with all my meal prep and stuff. And when you're fighting and training and you have 2 and 3 a day, it's really hard to stay on top of your food and have your foods pre-cooked. And my girlfriend doesn't want to do it forever. I can tell you that. It's hard on her too. So it's a real huge benefit to me. Not to mention, I get the best meals. I can train as hard as I can and keep the injuries down. So yeah, they've been a fantastic help, and they're really going to help me win this next fight.